Boker Tov, Rabotai. We're here on this beautiful Wednesday morning. We're out today learning halakha. We're learning the Tur in Yoreh De'ah, in Siman Reish Mem. Says the halakha as follows. We learned last week's parasha, the fifth commandment, that a person has to honor his father and his mother. Says the Tur, Mitzvat Aseh, there's a positive commandment, that a person has to honor his father and his mother, and he has to have a sort of fear, a trepidation, a seriousness when he's in their presence. Many people are very friendly with their kids and friendly with their parents, and they become like a buddy. Nonetheless, the Torah, meaning the halakha, says that that's not appropriate, meaning you're allowed to love your children, shower them with warmth, but there has to be a sort of seriousness in the presence of one's parents. A person has to be very careful in their yir'ah, in their kavod, in their honor, and in their in the fear that he has of his parents, the seriousness that he has when in their presence. Because their honor is comparable to the honor of Hashem Himself. The pasuk writes, "Kabed et avicha ve'et imecha," honor your father and your mother, and then the pasuk elsewhere writes, "Kabed et Hashem mehonecha," honor Hashem with your possessions. So from the fact that it says kabed, yes, it when it comes to your father and mother, and also kabed when it comes to Hashem, our rabbis say that they are connected. And when you honor your father and mother, it's like you honored Hashem. The question is, what happens if a person, he doesn't have living parents? As for Shalom, his parents, they passed away. Yeah, they went to Olam HaEmet. What happens then? Do you still honor them? Says the Gemara, yes, you can still honor a parent even after they pass away. And we're going to discuss that a little later, but you could still give kavod to a parent, yes, even after one's passing. But here we're dealing with parents who are still alive. It says, Umora'am, when it deals with fear of your parents, it's written, Ish imo ve'aviv tirau, a man shall fear his mother and his father. What does that mean? To be serious in their presence, not to ha he in their presence, etc. To be serious with around his parents. Imo ve'aviv tirau. And it says about Hashem, Et Adonai Elohecha tira, you shall fear Hashem your God. Says the Gemara, from here you see that the fear, Hashem equates the fear of Himself to the fear of your parents. And you have to have a seriousness when you talk to your parents. And we're going to see what that means.
So when often you talk to your mother, the mother says, in the Torah it says, honor your mother and then father.
No.
So it doesn't matter? No, but you just said
meaning we're going to learn now, meaning when it speaks about fear, it mentions your mother first. It says, Ish imo ve'aviv tirau, you shall fear your mom and your dad. And when it speaks about honor, it speaks about your father first. Kabed et avicha ve'et imecha. So we have to see what fear means and what love means. What does this mean? And here it's going to explain that fear means you don't sit where your father sits. Your father has, it's a respect. You have a respect and awe for your father. That your father has his special spot in the house. You don't sit in his seat. Yes, that's considered disrespectful. Yes, and it's called lack of morah, a lack of fear. You don't contradict what your father says. You tell him, you don't know what you're talking about, etc. Or even if you do, right? Even if you disagree with him, you're not allowed to contradict what your father says. Nonetheless, the Torah mentions fear. Tzadik, if you can make it a drop lower over there. It mentions fear by a mother first. Why? Because the psychology of a boy or a girl is to fear the father more. Papa's more serious, I guess, etc. And therefore, the natural inclination is to fear your father first. Therefore, the Torah says, don't make that mistake. Ish imo ve'aviv tirau. Your mother's fear is just as important as your father's. So it puts your mother first. When it speaks to honor, to take care of them, to feed them, to clothe them, it's easier for a child to honor and take care of his mother than it is to take care of his father. He's more inclined. People love their mothers more than their fathers. Papa was always strict, serious, mean, etc. Well, not in all situations, but not in all situations. But generally, the kids they tend to connect and cling more to the mother than to the father. And because that's true, the Torah says, no, don't make a mistake. Kabed et avicha ve'et imecha, honor your father, excuse me, and mother. Why? They're just as important. There are three partners in the creation of man. Your mom, meaning Hashem, your father, and your mother. And each one, the Gemara says, gives a different body part, or gives different parts. Your father and mother give you everything physical, and Hashem gives the neshama. So He's the main partner, Hashem. But without Hashem, there's no equation. There's no person. What's considered to fear? To fear means you don't stand in the place that your father stands. Your father has a spot, he prays in the synagogue, that's his spot. He prays over there. Don't stand in your father's spot. Velo yoshev bimkom, and don't sit in his spot. Even in his house, the Rama writes, right, that in his house, if he has a special spot to sit, then you have to be careful, meaning that is to be Papa's spot. Not to disagree with him. And not even to say, I agree with you, Papa. Yeah? Or your father's busy having an argument with someone and you say, no, my father's right. He doesn't need your help. He doesn't need your help. Even to say, yeah, Papa's right, etc., that's considered inappropriate in the eyes of the halakha. ורמה כתב זה אין צריך, דהיינו סותר את דבריו, אלא אפילו, ולא יאמר נראים דברי פלוני. Meaning, don't say also, oh, your father's busy talking to your uncle, and you say, yeah, Pa, my uncle is right. No, nachon. Cannot do that. It's disrespectful. Father's busy talking to somebody and you're being disrespectful.
What if you take him on the side and just say,
what are you going to tell my dad? This is the breakdown.
no, like, tell me from your point of view, like,
You have to be very delicate, very delicate, very delicate. You could suggest, maybe,
I was thinking,
maybe. Nothing definite. Nothing definite, not to chas v'shalom, to slight your father's honor.
So you have situation that with a great uncle and father, they're talking to each other, and you see, for example, like the father is not right, and the uncle is asking, no, what do you think? So what do you say?
You just keep quiet. Nigmar.
Please read the halacha and the Torah on the father's side.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. Oh, יפה. Meaning fear your mother and father and honor your father and mother. Exactly. כתב הרמב"ם לא יקראנו בשמו. Obviously this is obvious to us. You don't call your father by his name לא בחייו ולא במותו, even after he passes. אלא אומר אבא מרי. You could say אבי מורי, my father, my teacher. Yes? היה שם אביו או שם רבו כשם אחרים. If his father's name is, let's say, Shemuel, and he has someone else whose name is Shemuel, משנה את שמם. Yeah, if your father and son have the same name, yeah, but that's different. That's fine. That's also okay. We're talking about when you're in conversation. Yeah, in conversation, stam, not in tefillah, that you shouldn't mention your father's name, stam. So too, in his presence. So too, it's disrespectful. You have a son, you name him Shemuel, your father's name is Shemuel, and now you're going to come and say Shemuel, and your father thinks you're calling him by his name. No, nachon. You should call your son in front of your father Shmuels, Shmuli, Shmulik. I don't know, change it a little bit. Why? So your father doesn't, chas v'shalom, he doesn't take affront to the fact that you're saying his name, Shmuel. Yeah, no, not you, Papa. Okay. משנה את שמה, ויראה לי שאין להיזהר בכך אלא בשם שהוא פלאי. Oh. Says the Torah, this is only in a name that's not normal. Not in a name like Shemuel. שאין הכל דשין בו, אבל השמות שקוראים בו כל העם, כגון אברהם, יצחק, יעקב, משה, אהרון, וכיוצא בהם, בכל לשון ובכל זמן, קורא בהם לאחים, אין בכך כלום. וואו. כתב הרמב"ם, again, let's read this again. The Rambam writes, לא יקראנו בשמו, לא בחייו ולא במותו. Don't call him by his name. אלא אומר אבא מרי, היה שם אביו או שם רבו כשם אחרים, נשנה את שמם. ויראה לי, this is who speaking, the Rambam? Yeah, this is the לשון הרמב"ם. You need the preacher to save you. ויראה לי שאין להיזהר בכך אלא בשם שהוא פלאי, שאין הכל דשין בו, אבל השמות שקוראים בו העם, כל העם, כגון אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה, אהרון וכיוצא בהם, בכל לשון ובכל זמן קורא בהם לאחרים ואין בכך כלום. The Rambam says that if your father's name is Shimon, and everyone has the name Shimon, no problem. You could call people Shimon in front of your father. He's not going to take it, meaning it's not going to slight his honor in any way. ותמה על מה שכתב, דאפילו ההרים ששמם כשם אביו, שאין לקרותם בשמם. Right. The Torah argues on the Rambam. He says to wonder why the Rambam is saying I have to change other people's names. So we're going to see what the Shulchan Aruch is posek in this halakha. Let's see. Not good. You don't call your father Mulorofael. You call him Maleo Abba John. How are you? Tak. Bet. איזה מורה לא יעמוד במקום המיוחד לו לעמוד שם בסוד הזקנים עם חבריו, או במקום המיוחד לו להתפלל, ולא יושב במקום המיוחד לו להיאסף בביתו, ולא סותר את דבריו ולא מכריע את דבריו. בפניו אפילו לומר נראי דברי הבא. ולא יקראנו בשמו לא בחייו ולא במותו, אלא אומר אבא מרי, היה שם אביו כשם אחרים, משנה שמם. So the Shulchan Aruch goes like the Rambam. The Shulchan Aruch goes like the Rambam. He argues on the Tur. אם הוא שם שהוא פלאי, שאין הכל רגילים לקרות בו. So if it's a name, what's a name that's not so common? Yeah, whatever it is. Depends which community. So if it's a name that's not common, then don't call them by the name next to your parent because your parent thinks you're talking to him and it's disrespectful. Rather, you should speak. You should change their name slightly. Continues the tour. Ve'adecha moram. Until where is their moram? How much do you have to fear your father? Says the tour. Afilu haya lovesh bigdei hamudot. You're wearing your nicest suit. Ve'yoshev berosh hakahal, and you're sitting in front of the community. Uba avivo imo v'kar'u et begadav. Your father or mother comes and says, "Come over," and they rip your garment. V'hikau al roshon, he hits you over the head in public. You're sitting with all your friends in the synagogue or whatever it is, and your father kapaus you. Yeah. V'hikau al roshon v'yarku b'farav, and they spit next to you. Lo yachlim otam. Don't disparage them. Don't talk negatively to them. Don't embarrass them. Ela yishtok. So fair. Why do you get parents like this? All a tikkun. It's all a tikkun. It's all a cleansing. Ela yishtok. V'yir'a mimelech malchei hamelachim שציווהו בכך שאילו מלך בשר ודם גזר עליו דבר שהוא מכוער יותר מזה, לא היה לו לפרחס בדבר קל לא היה לו לפרחס בדבר קל בחומר לפי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. He says like this, if a king, imagine a king sent somebody to talk to you, yeah, and the king gave him prikaz ukas to do something to you, and he comes and he rips your shirt, that guy, you're going to say something against him? King is going to have your head tomorrow morning. What are you doing over here? He says, Hashem is the one, he's the king of all kings. He said, honor your father and mother. Make sure you respect them, make sure you listen to what they tell you, don't disrespect. Your father now came, he ripped your shirt. Yeah, how much more so you have to be careful not to say anything back and not to disrespect. Or he broke your iPhone, or he took away your stuff, I don't know what.
Rabbi, do we consider that somebody else's father is keeping Shabbat and all mitzvot? This is applicable, or if he doesn't keep, we have to listen anyways?
We have to honor our father regardless of his Shemirat Shabbat or not. You cannot say that he doesn't keep Shabbat and therefore that's it, you're not my father anymore. He's still your father, he still brought you into the world. It's a chiyuv, an obligation to make sure we respect him in the best way possible. Nonetheless, even when his father is breaking Shabbat, right? You don't tell him, Papa, that's asur. You got to be very delicate with it. Papa, I think in the synagogue the rabbi said X, Y, and Z. Yeah, Nigmar, I think. Halak Baruch, Hamevin Yavin, you'll get the point. Yeah, so too with your wife. You're at home. Yeah, this is Lavdil. Obviously, the honor of your wife and father are not the same, but so too with your wife, generally, or with your husband. For those watching, that sometimes you make a mistake, and right away, you're not allowed to do this on Shabbat. Hello. Obviously what you're saying is true, yeah, most of the time, but you got to know how to present it. When you give somebody medication, and that medication is bitter, very hard to get them to take it. Yeah, even though it's good for them, but when you take that medication and you put it with sweet taste, and he enjoys the medication. So too, you give somebody a rebuke, your wife, whoever it is, right? You tell them this is not allowed to be done on Shabbat. It has to be done with sweetness in a way that they will accept it. The Gemara says, off topic but on topic, the Gemara says that three things a husband says to his family before Shabbat: Isarten, Eravten, Hadliku et Aner. Right? We say this every Friday night. Isarten means that you give the maaser. Take care of the fruit, make sure you give the maasrot, because on Shabbat it's a question if you can give the maasrot, because it's like metaker mana. It's fixing the food. And you shouldn't do that. Okay. Eravten, did you make the iruf? It's a discussion in the Gemara what that means. Iruveh hatzirot, iruveh tuhumin, shti Rashi and Tosafot over there. And then there's hadliku et aner. Hadliku et aner, he's not asking them, did you light the candles? He sees if they lit the candles or not. Rather, he's telling them, hadliku et aner. Pajalsta, light the candles. This is the Gemara. You're going to tell them to light the candles, you must say it benihuta. You know what benihuta means? In a nice, quiet, calm tone. Not hadliku et aner. Excuse me. Hadliku et aner, they're not going to do it. Says the Gemara, say it to them in a nice way, that way they'll accept it from you. Teaches you human psychology. Scream at somebody, tell him to do it, he doesn't want to do it. Why don't you want to do it? I don't understand. It's because the way you presented it. But if he says hadliku et aner in a nice way, then what? Then they're going to accept it from him and they're going to do exactly what he wants. So back to what we were saying, that if you have something to say to your father, you can tell him, I think the rabbi said X, Y, and Z, and nigmar. Let him figure it out, meaning don't sit there and think I'm doing a mitzvah l'shem shamayim, and I'm going to start yelling now, and I'm going to start breaking things, and I'm going to because my father is not doing what's right. No, he's still my father. The first obligation I have is to listen to him, meaning to respect him. To listen to him, that's a question. Yeah, if your father on Shabbat tells you, Yom Sinok, let's go check out this piece of real estate, get in the car, you tell him, Papa, I love you very much, I cannot go today. The Torah says that what? You have to honor your father and mother. You tell him, yeah, but let's read it together. Come, let's get a chumash. Ish imo ve'aviv tirau v'chabet otai tishmoru. Person should fear his mother and father, and keep my Shabbat. What does it say? Oh, what does Shabbat have to do with honor your father? It must be, Abba, that if you tell me to get in the car, I can't. I love you very much. Why don't we sit together and have a nice Shabbat meal, and we'll sing Kiyesh Merah Shabbat together. We'll enjoy ourselves. Maybe we'll have a l'chaim. Okay, that's true. You have to find the Rishimo ve'aviv tirau. But the idea is, let's read one more halacha. Ve'ezu kibud. What's considered to honor? How do you honor your parents? Yeah. Ma'achilo. You give them to eat. Umashkehu. You give them to drink. And you have to give it to them with a nice countenance. Nah, Papa, here, I made you breakfast. No. Don't make your father breakfast like that. It's better, Hasu Shalom. I don't know if it's better, but maybe it's better he was hungry and didn't have a child like this to say, eat. No, you got to speak nicely to him. Don't show him a face that's like, oof, I have to go to work. Why are you bothering me to make you breakfast? Here, take it, I have to go. Not good. Or your mom asks you came home, please move the refrigerator. Pesach is coming, I need you. I have to go, mincha. No. If you're gonna, and then okay, fine, I'll do it. Come, let me do it. No. When you do something for your parents, it has to be in a nice way. Even if you give your father the best steak, yeah, and he does it in a face that's very frown-like. He gets punished. Every father has to say, Hashem, don't punish my children because of me. Don't punish my children. What do you gain that your child, Chas v'Shalom, Hashem punishes them for you? Sometimes Hashem, He doesn't like how your child spoke to you. So what does He do? He makes Chas v'Shalom a problem in the child's life. Well, how does that fix anything for you? It doesn't. Parent every once in a while says, Hashem, they shouldn't be punished in my behalf. I forgive them. I forgive them. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, may my children have Balaga Palucha. We see here, look how the Torah is careful with what? With teaching us these laws. You're not going to find this in all of these different schools. The concept of honoring your father. Today, the only thing they teach you is if Papa gets in your way, you call the police, child services, you call, at ACS, you call all these different things. But our Torah teaches you got to honor your father, you got to listen to him, you got to treat him nicely. This is our heritage that we're so lucky to have, and we must make sure to teach it to our children. One more thing is that this mitzvah doesn't go away in your old age. People think, I'm already a 45-year-old man, my parents are 75. That's it. I'm already a grown man. I can talk to them how I want. Nah, Papa, you don't know what you're saying. The mitzvah never goes away. He's always your father. That means even if if your father's 98 and you're 78, nonetheless you got to give him kavod and you got to talk to him shmo. You got to talk to him with respect to make sure that you're mekayem this mitzvah. And the Torah gives reward right away. The Torah says, I will give you long life. And the Gemara says long life is in many ways. Yes, long life is literally you live long. Second of all, you have parnasa, you have blagapalusha, success. All of this stems from what? From the honor of one's parents. The more we honor them and the more we brush up and we polish ourselves. You come, you visit your mother, you didn't see her in 2 days. Don't come in like Nivcham Nibavala. How are you, mom? How's it going? Etc. To make sure that you make the mitzvah appropriately. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen.